A new kind of online financial business is a hot topic at this year's 陆家嘴 Forum. A new hotel opens in Shanghai today as others say they're hurting because business is down. And Britain may become the first country to allow a genetic technique that would give a baby 3 parents. Good evening and welcome to this weekend edition of Shanghai Live, and I'm your host, Zhang Jieying. As the annual 陆家嘴 Forum wrapped up today in Pudong, China's chief banking regulator responded to the recent tight liquidity situation by saying that liquidity in the country's banking system is sufficient and the financial risk is under proper control. Zhang Jun has the story.
Chairman Shang Fuling of China's Banking Regulatory Commission told the Forum that there were 1.5 trillion yuan of excess reserves in the country's banking system, which could be used to fend off any potential crisis in the system. He said that is more than double the amount needed for normal payments and settlements.
The
tight liquidity problem in the past few days has begun to ease. The problem won't affect the stable operation of the country's overall banking system.
Shang said the asset quality at the Chinese banks has remained stable so far this year, with the total banking assets at 140 trillion yuan at the end of May. That's up 16% from May last year. As for the wealth management products that have become popular with investors looking for higher yields, Shang called the development positive. He said the assets in bank-issued wealth management products totaled 8.2 trillion yuan by the end of March. 70% were invested in the real economy. But he said the risk is always there.
By their nature, wealth management products are investment products. They are different from bank savings. Investors in wealth management products have to bear some investment risks.
Shang also said there are plans to encourage private capital to play a role in the country's financial restructuring. Zhang Jun, Shanghai Live.
Many Chinese netizens are investing in financial products through online third-party payment accounts. That business model has created a new market called internet finance, but some insiders worry that it may hurt traditional financial institutions such as banks. Our reporter Zhang Tao explored that issue at the closing sessions of the 陆家嘴 Forum.
Organizers hadn't expected so many people to show up to hear banking officials and professors discuss the online financial business. Many on the panel talked about Alibaba's newly launched Yuebao, which lets customers use its third-party payments platform Alipay to buy into a monetary fund. When Jack Ma, the founder of what is now the world's biggest e-commerce platform, started Yuebao earlier this month, he said China's financial markets needs to be stirred up. One bank official at the forum called the business a revolution.
When we began to supervise the market, there were already hundreds of third-party payment companies. The business had been outsourced by banks, so they were the third party between banks and clients. And today, they don't want to be a third party anymore, but would rather provide services directly to payers, and then they become the bank's competitors.
Alibaba wants its registered customers to transfer their account balances to Yuebao accounts. When they do that, they're actually buying into a monetary fund from Tianhong Asset Management Company in a partnership with Alibaba. But investors can transfer the proceeds back to their Alipay shopping accounts at any time. Zhou said that Alipay is one of about 220 third-party payments companies nationwide. Though the value of their combined payments is less than 1% of the amount that banks handle every year, the number of payments is already more than 60% of what the banks do. But China's stock regulator said recently that Yuebao violates share trading regulations and said it may end the practice. Opinion among people attending the 陆家嘴 Forum was divided.
我会觉得互联网因为它是面临的这个
I think the number of netizens is countless, which is an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time. If a financial crisis happens, it will spread faster than traditional ones. The nation should put some restrictions on it for the sake of capital and investors.
我们还是应当鼓励这些企业的创新，这种创新会使金融机构
We still need to encourage more such financial innovations, because they will put pressure on traditional financial institutions to pay attention to their innovations. We need to find a balance between innovation and risk prevention.
和这个防范机遇。
Alibaba's financial business is one of the examples of private capital's desire to get into the financial markets. Officials at the forum talked about allowing more private capital in and say they will approve another 40 third-party payment company permits by the end of this year. 张涛, Shanghai Live.
The cost of staying at a hotel in the city is dropping, with room rates at five-star hotels hitting their lowest level since the SARS outbreak in 2003. Zhang Jun tells us an oversupply of hotel rooms is one major reason for the decline.
This hotel is cutting room rates by 25% and offering other promotions through the end of August to attract more Chinese customers. But many in the city say hotel rates are still too high.
Well, I've lived here now for 4 years, and I have noticed the cost of living going up here in Shanghai quite a lot. My impression is that the rate here is higher than UK.
Several hotel managers say government cuts to spending on banquets have cut into profits, and there is an oversupply of hotel rooms dating back to the 2010 World Expo.
There were a lot of hotels that were planned prior to the Expo, some of which opened prior to the Expo, some of which opened after the Expo, and then for a certain period of time demand was not growing at the same pace with supply, which added pressure on performance.
A new five-star hotel opened today, just a short walk from the Hilton. It has been under construction since before the Expo, but managers say they are confident they can make a profit in the city's current tourism climate.
We're in the very heart of Shanghai, in the Jing'an district. It's an integrated approach. You know, it's about many different facets of business. The leisure business, which comes from tourism. We also have commercial business, which comes from office tenants. And we also have retail, which appeals to customers that are shopping.
The Secretary General of the city's Tourist Hotel Association says some 20 new star-rated hotels have already opened or will open this year.
因为这个禽流感很多境外的这种会议。
The recession in the hotel industry was partly caused by the bird flu outbreak earlier this year. Of course, the bigger reason is the overhype of increasing accommodation demand during the Expo period. So I believe it's not a good time to open new hotels in the city.
这个开业呢是生不逢时。
Cho said it would take 3 to 5 years for the city's hotel business to completely recover from the recession. Zhang Jun, Shanghai Live.
Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hua Chunying said yesterday that China hopes the United States will not use a double standard when talking about terrorism. She was answering the question about U.S. remarks regarding the attack that killed 24 people in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region on Wednesday.
我们注意到了美国国务院发言人的有关表态。
We have taken note of the remarks made by the U.S. State Department spokesman. The Chinese government protects the rights and interests of people of all ethnic groups, including their freedom of religious belief in accordance with law. We express dissatisfaction with and opposition to the U.S.'s groundless comments on the case and accusation against China's ethnic and religious policy before finding out the truth. The U.S. is also a victim of terrorism and should be fully aware of the danger of violent terrorism. We hope that the United States, instead of taking a double standard on anti-terrorism, could condemn and fight terrorism in all manifestations and strengthen international cooperation on anti-terrorism in a joint bid to maintain peace and stability in the region and beyond.
And now let's take a look at some international news, including a fire on a Taiwanese fishing boat in the Indian Ocean that killed at least 2 crew members. Taiwan's fishery authorities say 31 people were aboard the Chunying when they lost communication with it more than a week ago. Searchers found its 2 lifeboats 2 days ago, and yesterday with 14 people and 2 bodies on board. The ship caught fire off the east coast of Africa. 15 people are still missing, including the captain, the first mate, 12 Southeast Asian sailors, and 2 Sri Lankan guards. Taiwan officials say that because there were guns on the ship, pirates could not have set the fire. US President Barack Obama and his family has arrived in South Africa's administrative capital Pretoria for a planned 3-day visit that includes the Robben Island prison, where the country's ailing former president Nelson Mandela spent 18 years. Obama said he will only meet Mandela in his hospital room if the family agrees. Not every South African is welcoming the US president's visit. Some demonstrators marched toward the US embassy in Pretoria before Obama's arrival to protest US foreign policy. And Britain may become the first country to allow an artificial reproduction technique to create babies using DNA from 2 women and 1 man. The controversial technique, first announced in 2008, would be used in cases where the mother has a rare genetic disease. The procedure takes only the healthy genetic material from the mother's egg and transfers it into a donor egg that then goes back in the mother's womb. Its purpose is to reduce the number of cases where a mother can pass genetic diseases such as muscular dystrophy, epilepsy, heart problems, and mental retardation on to their children. If Britain's government approves the technique next year, doctors say the world's first 3-parent baby could be born in 2015. And that's all for today's edition of Shanghai Live. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.